Imagine this, you went to sleep at night as a citizen of free country. And when you woke up in the morning, your fundamental rights were gone. During the night, the electricity supply to newspaper was cut off. By dawn, political leaders had been taken away from their homes, and on the radio, only one voice was being heard. Emergency has been declared. See, this did not happen in some dictatorship. This happened in India, in independent India, in democratic India. In a single night, democracy died, one signature changed the country, and behind it was a woman, a prime minister, and her ambition. And today, I'm going to tell you about that how that night arrived, what happened during those 21 months, and what that darkness taught India. Watch this video till the very end because every Indian must know this history. Namaskar, I am Hemant Hadao and I wholeheartedly welcome all of you to today's episode. To understand this story, we need to go a little back in a time. The year 1971, Indira Gandhi fought the Lok Sabha elections on the slogan Garibi Hatao, remove poverty. She won 352 seats, a massive majority. The country stood behind her. The Congress president declared, Indira is India, India is Indira. Such was the intoxication of power. But while standing at peak of power, the country was collapsing from within. In 1973 to 1974, inflation skyrocketed. Unemployment increased. Drought struck. The international oil crisis shook the economy. People came out onto the streets and those people found the leadership in a 73-year-old man whom people called Lok Nayak. Jayprakash Narayan, JP. A freedom fighter, a socialist, a disciple of Gandhi, a man who had once left politics, but in 1974, students from Bihar brought him back into the public life. Students in Bihar took to the streets against inflation, corruption, and unemployment. JP supported them and he gave a historic call. JP said, changing the government alone is not enough. The entire system must be changed. The movement spread across the country. The fire that began in Gujarat reached Bihar, then Delhi. JP led a massive march towards parliament with lakhs of people. Indira Gandhi could not tolerate this, but the real shock came from a judge. Indira Gandhi had won the 1971 election from the Rai Bareli constituency. The defeated candidate was Raj Narayan, a socialist leader. Raj Narayan did not accept defeat. He filed a case in the Allahabad High Court, accusing her of electoral malpractice. The case went on for 4 years, and then came the day, 12 June 1975. Justice Jagmohan Lal Sinha delivered the verdict. The court declared that Indira Gandhi had used government machinery, government employees and resources for her election campaign, and this was illegal. The country was shaken. The opposition came out onto the streets shouting, Indira Gandhi resign. At Delhi's Ram Leela Maidan, before gathering of flags, JP recited lines from Ramdhari Singh Dinkar's famous poem, Vacate the throne, the people are coming. It was the night of 25 June 1975, and on that very night, Indira Gandhi took a decision that would change India's history forever. At midnight, the electricity supply to a major newspaper in Delhi was suddenly cut. Printing stopped in darkness. News came to a halt. At the same time, across the country, the homes of opposition leaders were surrounded by police. J.P. Narayan, Morarji Desai, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Lal Krishna Advani, George Fernandez, Arun Jaitley, all in one night. At the same time, everyone was picked up. No notice, no charges. And by morning, All India Radio informed the nation, President Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed, acting on the advice of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, had declared a national emergency under Article 352 of the Indian Constitution, citing internal disturbance. This was the India's third emergency. The first was during the 1962 China War. The second during the 1971 Pakistan War. But in both those cases, the enemy was external. But this time the enemy was internal, the hunger of power. But now an important question, what was the real reason behind the emergency? The official reason was, there is an internal disturbance in the country. National security is under threat. But historians and analysts unanimously say, real reason number one, escaping the court verdict. The Allahabad High Court had invalidated Indira Gandhi's election. The Supreme Court gave only a conditional stay, meaning she could sit in the parliament but could not vote. She feared of losing power. Emergency became a weapon to save her position. Real reason number two, crushing the JP movement. Lakhs of people were on the streets under JP Narayan's leadership, demanding regime change. Emergency was an iron curtain over this movement. Real reason number three, holding on to power by bending the law. The government had a parliamentary majority. but the judiciary, media, and oppositions were questioning it. Emergency silent all three at once. Political historian Ramchandra Guha and many experts have clearly written that the emergency was not a national necessity. It was political self-defense for one individual. Emergency was declared and a terrifying period began. Restrictions on the media. Newspaper could not print anything without approval from the government's press advisor. Not a single word against the government was allowed. Ramnath Goenka of the Indian Express protested by printing blank spaces where the news should have been. Those empty boxes became silent protest against censorship. Famous BBC journalist Mark Tully was expelled from the country. Arrest of political leaders. More than 110,000 people were imprisoned. Leaders, journalists, students, ordinary citizens. Under MISA, Maintenance of Internal Security Act, no charges, no trial, no bail. JP Narayan, despite being ill, was jailed. Morarji Desai, former Deputy Prime Minister, jailed. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, future Prime Minister, jailed. Sanjay Gandhi's unofficial rule. Indira Gandhi's younger son, Sanjay Gandhi, was effectively running the country without holding any constitutional position. He launched two infamous campaigns. First, forced sterilization. In the name of population controls, lakhs of poor men were forcibly sterilized. During 1976 to 1977, 8.3 million sterilizations were conducted, most of them under coercion. Second, demolition of slums in Delhi. Thousands of poor families in the Turkman Gate area had their homes bulldozed. When people protested, the police opened fire. Many died. This was the darkest chapter of Indian democracy. In free India, the dictatorship of one family. During the emergency, the government even amended the constitution itself. The 38th Amendment removed the court's power to challenge the declaration of emergency. The 39th Amendment declared that the election of the Prime Minister and Speaker could not be challenged in the court. Essentially, only I will decide the legitimacy of my election. The 42th Amendment granted Parliament unlimited powers and weakened judicial review. But no dictatorship, however powerful, can extinguish the fire in people's heart. On 18 January 1977, Indira Gandhi suddenly announced elections will be held in March 1977. She believed the opposition had been crushed. The people were tired. She thought she would win. It became her greatest political miscalculation. Leaders released from jail united together. Under JP Narayan's leadership, the Janata Party was formed. The entire opposition came together, and then elections were held. The people of India came to polling booths quietly but firmly. The result? Janata Party 298 seats, Congress only 154 seats. For the first time in independent India, a non-Congress government came to the power. And in Raebareli, Raj Narayan defeated Indira Gandhi by 55,200 votes. The same Raebareli, the same seat, the same Raj Narayan. The people proved that democracy had not died. It was alive in every single vote. The emergency ended, but it taught India many lessons. Shah Commission 1977. The new government appointed an inquiry commission under Justice J.C. Shah. The atrocities of the emergency were fully investigated. Forced sterilizations, arrests, censorship, everything came out into the open. 44th Constitutional Amendment 1978. The Janata government introduced a major reform. Internal disturbance would no longer be grounds for emergency. Only armed rebellion could justify it. This placed safeguards against future political misuse. Strengthening of the judiciary. Later, the court strengthened the basic structure doctrine. Even parliament cannot alter the constitution's fundamental principle. The emergency was a bitter test for Indian democracy, but India emerged from the test more aware, more cautious, and more mature. Friends, the story of the emergency is not merely the story of one prime minister or any one political party. It is the story of a warning that democracy is a delicate flower. It does not survive automatically. It has to be protected by asking questions, staying aware, and voting. JP Narayan had once said, democracy is not just voting. Democracy means remaining constantly vigilant. Those who forget history are doomed to relive it. 25 June has been declared by the Government of India as Samvidhan Hatya Divas, Constitution Murder Day, so that this history is never forgotten. Because the nation that forgets its history is forced to relive it. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. So friends, did you find this video useful? Tell us in the comments below, what do you think India should have learned from the emergency? Share this video with your friends and family because every Indian must know this history. Like, subscribe and press the bell icon because I will soon return with more such important episodes. Until then, keep reading because if you read, you will succeed.